Have you ever felt like your life is slipping through your fingers because you're not living with intention? In just a moment, I'll show you how embracing a powerful frame can transform your identity, relationships, and your future. So stick around because it could change everything. We're going live. We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's going on, guys? It is Frame Friday. Going forward, we're only going to do special dedicated mindset shows on Friday. The rest of the week will be to give you guys more of what you want. That sweet, sweet punani. That glorious beaver. I'm talking about Peen Poon Connections, guys. You know that's why you guys tune in here. You guys don't tune in to fix your mindset. You tune in to think with your other brain. If you are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer, and I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about that process is that it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, today, we're going to wrap up our study of Raith Deantor's book, The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Power, Frame, Identity. This is really good. It's the second book in the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series. If you didn't know, I too have a book in the series that released back in September. And we're up to chapter 10 now. And chapter 10 is all about living with a new frame. Now, I've said this in previous episodes, but like this book's a short read. It's a very short read. It's got lots of actionable information to really help improve your mindset about things, help have more emotional control, how to not be so reactive, and be more responsive. And that's extremely helpful for guys. A lot of guys just don't have that. A lot of guys act very emotionally and they don't even realize they're doing it. If you get pissed all the time, like a lot of guys get pissed off, oh, that pisses me off, right? If that's a common reaction for you, you need this book. You need this book because a guy with a dominant masculine presence has that under control. He uses it, like he can use anger when it's necessary. Like sometimes you have a righteous reason to have anger, but a lot of things that we get mad about and get triggered about, it's stupid stuff. It's stupid stuff. And it actually makes you appear weaker to other people, right? When they know that they got your goat, they know that they can push your buttons, they lose respect for you when you react emotionally. So learning how to have some kind of control over that is paramount, especially in your relationships. But before we get into all that today, I do invite you guys to hit like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. Please sound off in the live chat if you guys are watching live today. There's not too many of you guys so far this morning. I don't know. It must be a busy Friday. That or you guys are just so sick of mindset. It's basically, this is one of the reasons why I announced that I'm no longer doing Woo Woo Wednesdays, is because really when you're doing the woo-woo stuff, it's the same thing as frame. You're really working on your frame. It's just you're putting it under a different context. You're putting it under a different, frame of reference. We're usually talking about it from maybe a spiritual context or a quantum theory context, or just a psychology context, which is what we're doing with frame. So it's like, well, why not just merge the two and call it Frame Friday? And then the rest of the week we'll talk about vaginas. We'll talk about vaginas and how to get inside those vaginas, which is really what guys want to know when they come to the red pill space, because red pill at the end of the day is men's sexual strategy and a positive male identity, right? So yes, anyway, sound off in the chat if you guys are watching live. I appreciate that. And then guys, do consider sending super chats. That helps support the show probably more than anything else. All right, so getting in with the first concept in chapter 10, and as I've been doing through this whole review of Raith's book. I'm not reading it to you because I really want you to go out and get it. If you go on Amazon and do a search for The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, you can get all the 3 books that are out right now. There's going to be more to come here in 2025, but those 3 are available now. So the first concept is embodying a new frame. So what Raith argues is that living by a new frame involves integrating it into thoughts, actions, and interactions. And now it's important that you integrate it in with your thoughts, right? You've got to really reinforce that and make it almost a subconscious habit. I gave a talk last night. It was really cool. It was with my coach, Nikki. He has a men's group called the Sovereign Men's Group. And they invited me on to give a talk about, what did I talk about? I talked about the betaization process. I talked about the neurochemical responses and how women see alpha and beta traits, right? Like what's that doing to your girl neurologically when you act a certain way, and what's building what kind of attraction, right? And then I talked about dread game. I talked about the concept of passive dread game and active dread game and stuff. And so when I was doing that, one of the things that I sort of finished with is that the work never stops. One of the biggest pitfalls men have in the space is they read the books, they practice it, they get coaching, whatever they do as a means to an end, right? They think, okay, like for instance, I help men fix their dead bedroom situation with their wives. So some guys will hire me and they'll go through my program, and then at the end of it, I will tell them like, hey, the work never stops. Like, this is just the beginning. You've got to keep reinforcing these, these new habits that we're creating, right? You've got to read the material at least once a year. You got to keep this stuff fresh in your mind, because otherwise you're going to fall back on old patterns. But the ultimate goal is to start building this stuff up so much that it's a habit, that it's subconscious. You don't even think about doing it. And then you have become the game, right? Rollo talks about this in Player's Handbook. You eventually have to become the game. It has to be just a part of who you are. And once it becomes a part of who you are, and you do it without conscious thought because it's a habit, now it's effortless. Now all this kind of stuff is effortless. A lot of MGTOW guys and black pill guys, they'll complain saying the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Right? They think, oh, that just seems like so much work and effort. There's a lot of work and effort on the front end to build up those new habits. But once they become habits, it's just what you do. It's not, work anymore. Now it's just what you do. It's effortless, like when you sit down and watch TV out of habit, like it's not like a chore to do that, right? Because you've built up the habit of being lazy. I don't know. Anyway, so living by a new frame involves integrating it into thoughts, actions, and interactions. Embodying a frame transforms it from intellectual understanding to a core part of your identity, right? This is who you are now. One of the most profound things from a marketing perspective, I think, and I have to give him credit, is Corey Wayne's concept of how to be a 3% man. Right? How to be a 3% man and identifying yourself as a 3% man. Fucking genius. We're past the 8-minute mark. I can say that. Fucking genius. If you think about it, so many guys from the men's group that I came out of the original 3% men's group on Facebook, 3% man's group on Facebook. It's now the 3% Brotherhood. If you guys go on Facebook and look for the 3% Brotherhood, you can join that group. It's not very active. My beer club's way more active, but you can join that group. And these are all guys that have studied the material. They are all 3% man, right? They all identify. They've made it a part of their identity to be 3% men, which, the concept is that only 3% of the world's population of men actually understands women, and so that's an identity mechanism, and Corey has integrated that into his marketing. Fucking genius. Now you're identifying as a top tier guy, right? So you want to embody frame transformation and make it a core part of your identity. You want to identify as one of these guys, right? Not an Apache attack helicopter or something stupid like that, or a they, them, or something, kind of crazy like that. I'm talking about something that's useful. And canceled. Physical presence, right? A part of embodying your new frame is your physical presence, your posture, your tone of voice, your demeanor. All this must reflect the internal frame so that people see you as congruent. And we talked a lot about congruence on Wednesday, but your words, your body language, your tone of voice, all of that match up. That's congruence. And women can tell when you're faking things, right? They can often tell when you're faking things because something doesn't add up. Your body language doesn't match what you're saying. Your tone doesn't match what you're saying, whatever. Women are very perceptive to the subtext that's going on. They're very perceptive to what you're not saying. They're perceptive to your tone and body language and stuff like that. So working on all of these factors helps you align everything up. It makes you, because a big part of this is believing it, right? Once you believe it, you're going to carry yourself that way. You understand? If you believe you're the prize, if you believe you're a confident man, if you tell yourself this through some of the actions in Raith's book, you're going to start believing it. Once you believe it, everything else aligns with that. Your body language will align with that. The next concept here is self-awareness and intentional action. So regularly check that your decisions, behaviors, and relationships align with your frame, right? You can do this with techniques like journaling. Raith talks about this in the book quite a bit. I talk about it in my book too. But if you, at the end of the day, just take 10 minutes to reflect on your day and see how you reacted to certain situations, see if you handled it well, if you could have handled it better, all that kind of stuff, just jot that down. Well, over time, you could go back and sort of review if hey, in the moment, you can reflect on your day and see oh, did I act in accordance with my frame? What could I do better? And over time, you can actually see progress. You'll see when you first started and everything went to crap, and every time you tried, you failed. Some of us take mental notes. I know for a fact. So I was just reflecting on this today, but I'm hosting Rule Zero tomorrow, and this is wrapping up my second year of being on that panel show, and it's been a phenomenal 2 years working with those guys. But one of the things is I met RP Thor. Well, I met him a little bit before, just in passing on social media, but he and I didn't really have the connection that we have now until he also joined the Rule Zero panel, and he joined a couple weeks after I joined. We basically joined Rule Zero at the same time, and he and I have sort of become really good friends out of that panel show. Thor and I are pretty tight, and he let me audit. I bought one of his courses, and then he let me audit a second course. And one of his courses was on body language and having a dominant masculine presence. Before he wrote the book, A Dominant Masculine Presence, he had a course about it. And so I took the course. And one of the things he talks about in the course, and he talks about it in his book, is this concept of nodding up, right? Nodding up is a more dominant masculine body language than it is to nod down. If you nod down, when you greet people, you say, "Hey, how's it going?" Right? Or you tip your hat kind of thing, right? Milady. That nod down is a submissive gesture, but nodding up is a dominant gesture, you see? So over time, I took that course and I started trying to apply that, right? Just in my day-to-day activity. I'd go to Walmart, right? And I would make it a point to, if I, make eye contact with people. That's one thing I like to do. I like to try to make eye contact with people, because that by itself took me a while to get used to. But I make eye contact with people, and then normally my gut reaction is to nod down. I've been doing it my whole life. So I would sit there and go, okay, I've got to nod up to people. Right? And I know it's taken me about 2 years for that to now become more of my habit now. I nod up more now than I ever did. And it's taken me about 2 years to do that. because at first, the first, 9 months of it, I was failing. Right. And so then I got to a point of going, God, you're clearly sucking at this. Let's just try not nodding or greeting at all. Just make eye contact and then go about your business. Right. So then it was just like, don't nod, don't nod, don't nod. And then it was nod up, nod up, nod up. And now it's just what I do now. Right. It's a process, but you can sort of reflect on it. Like, are you able to do this and actually go out and practice this stuff? Takes a while. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes we get the hang of things quickly. It becomes a little more natural. Sometimes it doesn't feel as natural and takes a little bit of effort. Self-awareness is the foundation of maintaining your frame amidst challenges. That's the key to everything, right? Being aware of your thoughts and your emotions and being able to catch things. Like if like your girl's pushing your buttons and you are about to say something that is going to blow things out of proportion. If you could be aware of what you're thinking and what you're feeling in the moment, you can stop that. You could stop that, take about 3 seconds and actually reflect on what you're about to say and how you can handle it. And then you'll remember stuff like agree and amplify. You'll remember stuff like act indifferent. You'll remember stuff like never dear, always Luca, right? All the kind of stuff that I talk about a lot. You'll remember that in the moment and then you'll apply it. But it all comes down to awareness and being able to be aware of what you're thinking, what your gut reaction is going to be, and if that's going to serve you or not, right? But if you could be aware of that kind of stuff, you could be more strategic in your interactions. And then intentional actions reinforce your beliefs and values, helping them become more instinctive. All right. Nurse Chick's in the house. She says, good morning, gentlemen. Man, y'all are quiet. There's like 32 people watching right now and only 2 people talking in the chat. That is unacceptable behavior. But Nurse Chick's in the house here.
You're so naughty.
Yes.
I'm going to come.
I will. Erkin says, Jack Napier and Nuclear are also live on YouTube. Those sons of bitches. Why are they live right now on Friday? He says they could choose another time, though. I know. That was fine. People can watch the replay. He says it's hard to make eye contact in Sweden. People look away. Well, that's good. That shows a sign of submission. So if you want people to look away first, right? You want to have that dominant masculine presence. English teacher Lloyd says, hey, 3% brother Lloyd, what's up, man? What are you doing? You're didn't you say you moved to Africa? Where are you at now? And then Spagman's here. Hey, good. Hey. Smash that like button, guys. If you're watching right now, smash that like button, okay? We got to let people know that the show's going right now because fuck Jack Napier and fuck Nuclear Caudillo for going live at my time slot. Those sons of bitches. All right. I actually love those guys. Those guys are awesome. Let's see here. Guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. I'll send you a bunch of cool stuff. Check this one out. Girl, you know I'm a bad boy. Girl, you know that. I was telling these guys last night, right? Because I got invited to talk to a men's group called the Sovereign Men's Group. Sovereign Nation, whatever. I think it's the Sovereign Men's Group. Anyway, talking with these guys, gave them a whole presentation on Dread Game and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things I was telling them is that a big mistake that guys do is when their girl notices other women checking them out, a lot of guys will try to downplay that. They're like, I would never talk to those girls. Like, are you crazy? Like, I'm not even looking at those girls, right? Like, whatever it is to try to ease their woman's mind. But the problem is that the reason why she's even acting the way she's acting is because she's got competition anxiety. And that anxiety builds attraction. It's a part of heat, healthy emotional anticipation and tension. It creates tension. That tension builds attraction. You understand? She needs this to be in love with you. She needs this shit. And most guys are trying to squash that as quick as possible. So I told these guys to embrace it, right? If she goes, that girl is checking you out, you say, well, of course she is. Why wouldn't she? Right? You got yourself a catch here. And she's like, well, if I ever catch you, and I'm like, hey, I can't help it when girls come and talk to me because, girl, you know I'm a bad boy. You know the girls are all into this. They all want a piece of this. Anyway, if you guys get on the email list, I'll send you those free stickers. But if you don't want stickers, just say, I don't want stickers in the address field, and I won't waste a stamp on you. But the important thing is get this ebook. She's Made You Weak. It explains the betatization process and why women lose attraction over time in long-term relationships. If you can learn this information, you can learn to defend against it. I call it defending against the dark arts, right? Shout out to Harry Potter. But if you know what's happening, you know how to resist it, you know how to play the game and keep that attraction going long term. She doesn't want to win, guys, so you can't let her win. You can't let her win. And then, guys, check out my books. I have 2 books out now. Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18 is the first book I wrote. It's a handbook for life. Teach you how to acquire wealth, get out of debt, and find women, date multiple women. You'll understand attraction with this. You'll understand how to maintain long-term relationships with this. And then I teach you how to negotiate higher salaries, how to get better jobs, all that kind of stuff. Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18 will change your life. And then Psychology Paradigm, The Essential Skills of Masculine Presence. Psychology Paradigm is my second book, and that's all on reprogramming your subconscious mind to have a more dominant masculine presence and having an effective mindset when it comes to relationships. So that's a good one. And then I have a third book that I'm going to release here in January. It's called Get Her to Fuck You Again, a red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom. So look for that. I'm working on recording the audiobook right now. The book's done. It's ready to go on Amazon. I'm just waiting to release it until I can get the audiobook recorded because I want to release them all at the same time. Plus, that son of a bitch, Ryan Stone, just released a book, and he is the world's best red pill couch, and I don't want to step on his toes. So plus I'm going to be heading out to Toronto in April, and it would be cool to hang out with him, and I don't want to piss him off because he'd be like, fuck you, man. Fuck you, releasing books. Same time I'm trying to release my books. Some of a bitch has 5 books now. Well, he's going to have a 5th book coming out in January. And I'm trying to catch up. I'm playing catch up. I'm only going to have 3 books, but I will be an official author when that comes out. Anyway, get the book. Go to books.comeonmanpod.com. That'll take you to my authors page. Let me play a commercial for that, and then we'll get back to the topic at hand today. Let's see here. Where is it? Here it is.
Have you ever felt like something's holding you back in your relationships? Like you're always on the back foot, struggling to connect with women? You're not alone. Many men are taught to be weak, to defer, to play small around women by their upbringing, by society, by the very world that shaped them. But what if you could break free from the invisible chains that have held you back? What if you could rewrite the script, reprogram the paradigm that's been running your life? This is your chance to step into the man you were always meant to be. In The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm by Paul Bauer, the first book in R.P. Thor's groundbreaking series, you'll learn how to understand and transform the paradigms that have shaped your life. You'll discover how to develop a dominant masculine presence, one that commands respect, inspires trust, and brings fulfillment to your relationships. Don't wait for life to change on its own. Take control. Order your copy of The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm now on Amazon. Available in hardcover, paperback, or on Kindle. This is more than a book. It's your roadmap to a life of purpose, strength, and success. Make the decision today. Reprogram your life and step into the man you were meant to be.
Yes, do that. Get the book here. Let me drop a link here. Get the book here. All right. Hey, Tim, what's up, man? Long time no see. Indeed. Don't be a stranger, bro. Okay, so Lloyd is in Cape Town, South Africa. You and Nurse Chick need to come down for a visit. Yes. Oh, you know what, Lloyd? You need to come on the fucking podcast and talk about your new dating course. My man Lloyd has a phenomenal dating course. It'll blow your mind. It will blow your mind. Okay, cool. Let's get back to the topic, guys. So the next concept here is resilience in adapting to challenges. So the idea here is fully embodying a frame doesn't mean perfection. Challenge will arise. It's more about progress, being 1% better every day, right? Just being a little bit better than you were the day before. You're never going to be perfect. There's never going to be a time where you're optimal, right? Because if you ever set a goal, and then once you achieve that goal, and then you're like, oh, now what? Right now what do I do? Because you've been on this purpose to achieve this goal for so long. Now that you've achieved it, now you have no purpose anymore. I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I had John Sonmez from Bulldog Mindset on a couple of years ago. And he and I were talking about this, and he became a millionaire like in his early 30s. He developed some kind of software app and sold it for millions of dollars. And he decided, oh yeah, there we go. I finished my purpose. I made, millions of dollars. I'm going to go retire on the beach somewhere. So he did. Right. And that seems like everyone's dream life, right? Not have to work, just go live on the beach, be a beach bum. Well, he got there, he achieved that dream, and then he felt empty because he had nothing to work towards anymore. So that's why he's doing his Bulldog Mindset stuff, because he had to find purpose again. But you're never going to reach perfection. There's always going to be something to do, something that you can improve on. It's something, right? There's always something. You're never going to be perfect unless you're me. I'm just kidding. Resilience helps you stay grounded in your frame, even under external pressure. It's funny. I just think of that, just thinking about the joke about never being perfect. Dude, I fuck up so much. So I just enrolled a new client into my Dead Bedroom program yesterday, and I'm excited about this. And but yesterday was a hectic day because I was I had let's see what was going on yesterday. I had the breakthrough call with this gentleman, talked to him about his problem, got him enrolled into the program. And then I had like a bunch of work to do. I had to get ready for today's show. I had to get a PowerPoint presentation for the Sovereign Nation group last night. And then I had to get ready for a dev tools repave for my day job. So I was working till midnight last night, scrambling around, doing a bunch of stuff. But I also had to send my coaching agreement out to my new enrollee. And so I was sort of rushing to do that. And so I got the coaching agreement together, but I copied and pasted the subject line wrong. Right. So it had someone else's like first name in the subject line. I sent that, and I saw that after the fact. I was like, God, fuck. Like, why do I always catch that stuff after I hit send? I never like take the time to proofread, but it's because I'm like always rushing. So I'm not perfect. I'm not fucking perfect at all. Resilience helps you stay grounded in your frame, even under external pressure. Your frame serves as a foundation to navigate adversity with clarity and composure. That's a part of the reason why I really love Ryan Stone's book on frame too, because he talks about frame as multiple pillars, as a tetrahedron, right? You've got to have a physically strong frame. That's why we say go to the gym. You've got to have an intellectually strong frame. You got to know what you're talking about, right? You got to work on yourself mentally. Reading these types of books helps with that. And then you've got to have an emotional frame. Like, you have to be strong emotionally. You have to be able to handle adversity. And only then, once you have all three of those, can you really truly support your vision. But if you have any weakness in any of these other pillars, your vision's going to fall flat, right? So you have to build up each one of these pillars, because that's going to serve as your foundation to navigate life's challenges, basically, right? What is your day job? Looking good all day. All right. I work in IT. Let's just say that. I don't want to get too off in the weeds on that. The continuous nature of personal development. So personal growth is a lifelong journey, and your frame evolves with new experiences. This is why I say the work never stops, right? I learned that particular phrase from Corey Wayne, and How to Be a 3% Man. But it wasn't until I read that book that I truly understood the importance of it, right? The work truly never stops. You are always going to be working on self-improvement. Now, one of the things I learned from that son of a bitch, Ryan Stone, in his first book, Fuck Files, he has a whole chapter called self-improvement or self-help or self-improvement is mental masturbation. It absolutely can be if you don't take what you're learning in these books and apply it, right? But a lot of people, like, some people will buy a book. They'll buy a book like Race book and go put it on the fucking shelf, never even look at it, and just feel good about themselves that they bought the book, right? I know there's people that have that have paid for my courses, never even finished the course, right? I know that for a fact. There's plenty of people that have bought my books and haven't even finished reading them. And it's not because the books aren't good or the courses aren't good. It's because people are inherently lazy. And so just the fact that they're buying something, they feel good about themselves, right? I have guys, and God bless these guys, but they've hired me way back when I first started doing coaching. And I was really offering a very low ticket, very low price. I was really underselling myself. And because of that, because they're really not investing a lot of money in it, they just feel good that they're paying that fee and they don't even book calls with me. You understand? Now, the guys that I'm working with now in my Fixed Dead Bedrooms program, they're investing a lot of money. They are fucking showing up for calls. Like, they are serious. Like, these guys are like, no, I'm fucking serious about solving my problem. I'm investing in this. I'm doing the fucking work. And it's like, wow, it's crazy. But yeah, some people just feel good. You know, they'll throw a couple $100 a month away and then not even show up for a call. You know, it's like, they just feel good about paying that money, but it's not really doing anything. You understand? But true self-improvement is a lifelong journey, right? Taking what you're learning and applying it. For a while there, I was like, I'm going to listen to all these audiobooks. And I was just really filling up on audiobooks. I still have a ridiculously long list of audiobooks, but what I got to the point where I'm like, okay, is this audiobook truly going to serve my purpose? Right? Is it really moving the needle on what I want to do? And if the answer is no, I stop reading it, and then I'll probably revisit a book that is serving my purpose that I really want to master, and I'll read the same book multiple times, right? So you got to sort of figure out what is important to you and what you truly want to improve on and what you truly want to master. And then instead of reading a whole bunch of books that you're not going to apply, reread the books that you will apply, that you do apply, right? Early focuses like confidence may later expand into leadership, purpose, and legacy. That's really important. And then staying adaptable ensures your frame remains aligned with your changing goals, right? You got to be like water. You know, sometimes I've set goals for myself. I've talked about this before. I've set goals for myself where after a while I review them and I go, do I really want to do that? Is that really going to serve my purpose? If the answer is no, then I'm like, I need to find a different goal. I need to find something better. One goal that I've had for the last like 3 years is to make a certain amount of money per month, right? And I thought that was like a huge goal. I thought it was this huge unattainable goal until I started working with my coach. My coach is Nikki and my coach Mark. And then I realized that I'm not even setting the goal high enough, right? Like, it's the potential is so fucking infinite. It's scary to even think about, you know? But my goal was like, I was like, man, that if I achieved that goal, it would blow my mind, right? If I achieved that goal, it would blow my mind. And just working with them, I've already achieved that goal. And I was like, holy fuck, that wasn't even that hard. You know, I mean, there's stuff I need to improve on to really tighten this down. But if I keep working at it, I can improve this. I actually have infinite potential. There's a lady in the coaching group that I'm with. My first meeting, right? My first meeting, I showed up there. She had just had an $80,000 month of, you know, just in new enrollments. And I think she works with executives, right? I think she works with executives to improve their efficiencies or something like that. I think that's what she does. But there's guys, there's a guy in my group. He helps guys build gardens, right? Build gardens in their, like, he shows them like how to efficiently have a beautiful garden in their house. I think he charges like $12,000 for it, right? And he's not even out there digging holes. He's just teaching them how to do it and showing them like how to find the right contractors and stuff. It's like crazy. There's a guy in their group that was making $120,000 a month teaching people how to do handstands. Like, if you have a skill that you could teach, like, you can market it, right? I watched a video. I'm going off on a tangent here. I watched a video yesterday of a guy who allegedly is the smartest guy in the world. He has something, I don't know, something like a 200 fucking IQ or something like that. And he lives in this one area, and they're like, oh, well, why aren't you rich? Right? Why aren't you rich? And he's like, well, when you get to a certain level of intelligence, people equate intelligence with money, but it's not necessarily that. And he's like, and besides, people that are as smart as me, they won't let you make that kind of money or whatever. What? Like, what kind of fucking, stupid self-limiting belief is that? Smartest guy in the world has the biggest self-limiting beliefs. So I was like, dude, just learn how to sell. Right? Like that, there's some dumbass people that know how to sell, and they're making millions of dollars, and it has nothing to do with IQ. Like, so you're telling me with a 200 IQ, you can't learn how to sell a marketable skill, like, or service? Like, come on, man. I think you're so fucking smart. Oh man. Let's see here. JS says, I've bought books, not finished them. These self-help style, I usually do audiobooks. Yeah. Well, my problem is with paperback books. Like, having to sit down and read a paperback book is a struggle for me. It takes me months. I started reading Gatekeeper by Sean T. Smith like 2 months ago. I'm only on like chapter 3, right? I've got brother David from Beer Club is like, hey man, you finished with that book yet? How is it? I've got it in my reading list. I'm like, well, it's good so far. Like, what I've read of it, I only read like maybe a chapter a month or something. But audiobooks, I can knock out like one a week. Yeah, audiobooks are way better. CW is in the house. He says, what's good, gents? What's up, brother? All right. And then, man, I am going off on tangents here. So let's see here. So we have, let's talk about this Beer Club thing. I have my Stream Elements telling everybody about it. Join Beer Club. It's the best damn men's group in the world. beer.comeonmanpod.com. And then, guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one, let's say your relationships, just not what it should be. Let's say that you've gotten to a point where you're basically just a roommate in your own house. You sit on the couch, you get home, you see your wife, you're like, hey, how was your day? She's like, hey, it was not too good. Becky in accounting's a bitch, or whatever, women say. And then you go, oh, that sucks. And then what's for dinner? Okay. And then you go and sit on the couch and you watch, Landman or whatever. And that's your fucking life. And then but back when you first got together, you guys couldn't keep your hands off each other. You're doing all these fun and exciting things. And now you're just boring roommates. If that's your life now, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, that's not the way marriage should be. You know what I'm saying? It could be so much better. And a lot of women are strongly dissatisfied in their relationships. That's why they 90 or 80 or 90% of them file for divorce, right? Because they get to a point where they've just lost all attraction for you, and you're doing nothing about it. You're like, she puts out once a month still. I'm good. I'm all right. Like, this is okay. Like, life doesn't have to be, a love story all the time. Well, your girl's going to eventually drop that brick in your lap, right? We have a 50% divorce rate. And out of the 50%, let's say you're Mr. Optimistic, out of the 50% that stay together because they actually, they're religious and they're like, oh, I can't do that. Only 25% of them are truly happy in their relationships, right? It's an abysmal success rate, right? The other 25% that are still together are cheating on each other or just completely fucking miserable. Okay. If you want to get into the top 25% of marriages where things are actually fulfilling and you love each other and you're having toe curling, mind blowing sex where you just fucking melt into each other's existence because it's so fucking awesome, right? If you want to get there, book a free call with me. Go to call.fixeddadbedrooms.com. Okay. You can have a much more fulfilling family lifestyle. Think of your kids for a minute, right? One of the guys I was talking, the guy I just enrolled yesterday, I was talking to him and I was like, well, how was your parents how's your parents' relationship? What's your wife's parents' relationship like? Right? Because we tend to learn these shitty relationship habits from our parents by watching them. We're like, oh, that's just how life's supposed to be. Look, my dad's miserable. That's normal. Like, no, it's not normal. Okay. Let's fix that shit. All right. Strategies for reinforcing your frame. So one of the things that Rafe recommends is daily reflection to keep your frame strong by aligning actions and decisions with your values. That he recommends doing that with journaling, like daily reflection, journaling, that type of stuff. Mindfulness and presence in interactions help you respond intentionally rather than react emotionally. I often recommend the 3-second rule. Just give yourself 3 seconds to respond to something, especially when someone lashes out at you or says something that's kind of sharp and your gut instinct is to blow up at them. Just take 3 seconds to, think about what you're feeling in that moment, what you're thinking about saying, and then how can you say it in a more strategic way, right? And then strong boundaries protect your frame by preventing external forces from undermining it, right? We allow people to treat us, however we allow them to treat us, right? So if people are treating us shitty, they're only treating us as shitty as we allow them to be. Okay. This is where good boundary enforcement comes in. And some of the best ways to handle boundaries is not by giving people ultimatums or telling them, if you do that one more time, like that's how most people do that kind of stuff, right? Sometimes the best way is to remove your time and attention, right? So if your wife's being an epic bitch and she's saying really hurtful shit, some of the best way to handle that is like, hey, we're not doing this right now. I'm going to take off. I'll be back in an hour. We can talk about this when I get back, when we're both more calm and we're not going to say something that we're going to regret. Okay. But it's getting out of hand right now. And it's unacceptable. I'm taking off. And then you fucking leave, right? Fucking leave. Remove your time and attention. We punish bad behavior. We reward good behavior. Another client of mine, I just had a session with yesterday too. That was another thing I did yesterday. I had a coaching session. And one of the things that I noticed with guys is that when their girl, let's say they're in a dead bedroom situation, but their girl's initiating sex, but they have so much resentment built up because of all the times they got rejected or how bitchy she's like normally, they're like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Or they know that's going to be starfish sex and she's just trying to, do the maintenance sex thing. I saw a video about maintenance sex the other day and I was like, that sounds fucking terrible. Right? Boring maintenance sex. But a lot of guys will take what they can get, right? Well, some guys, they're at the point where if their wife offers the boring maintenance sex, they're like, nah, I'm good, right? Because they want that more enthusiastic sex. And I'm like, well, if you want her to want to fuck you more, you have to reward her with your dick. Okay. You want to reward the good behavior, the behavior we want, which is sex, right? And you want to punish bad behavior by removing your time and attention. So if she's offering sex, rejecting her actually will prevent her from wanting to initiate more later, because women will internalize that and think, oh, he doesn't like me. He thinks I'm ugly, or what women go get all in their head about it in a bad way that prevents them from wanting to do it. So you're basically just reinforcing the bad behavior, right? By rejecting her. So no, you want to reward her with your dick. And when she does it and you're resentful about it, that's perfect. Now hate fuck her, right? Hate fuck her for all the times that she's held out on you. Throw her around, pull her hair, just like whisper in her ear, you're a dirty fucking slut or whatever. Just hate fuck the shit out of her, because guess what? She's going to be like, holy shit, what's gotten into this guy, in a good way, right? Women want to be fucked. The reason why they lay there and do boring starfish sex is because you're probably being a boring lover yourself, right? So hate fuck the shit out of her, right? Just hate fuck the shit out of her. Reward her with that dick, right? And then make it all about you, okay? But in a good way, right? In a good way, make it all about you. And then, so we're talking about, yeah. Okay. So that's, boundaries, right? Boundaries. We were talking about boundaries. That's what we're talking about, right? So, but yeah, if she's rejecting you, right? Okay, cool. Like, don't get butthurt about it, because that's a big thing guys do too, right? They act dejected, butthurt. Well, that just makes her lose more attraction for you, because you you seem pathetic then, right? But if you go, oh, okay, cool. Well, you know what? I'm not tired. Like let's say you're waiting till bedtime here. I'm not tired. I think I'm just going to go I'm just going to go out to the gym for a little bit and just get a workout in. I'm just, but don't act butthurt by it. Just remove your time and attention. Okay. Have a gym bag ready to go. Let her also wonder why you're going out this late at night. She's rejecting sex from you. Now you're going out. Where's he really going? Hamster wheel time. Surrounding yourself with support. Oh, see here. We talked about mindfulness. Oh, yeah. So the next concept is surrounding yourself with support. So your environment influences your ability to maintain frame. So choose it wisely, right? If you are, let's say you're having a shitty time in your marriage, right? And so you're acting really fucking pissed off. You're acting like, you're acting really resentful. So you find yourself to the MGTOW space. And you start hanging out with a bunch of guys who are also miserable, and you're all commiserating about how your wives are bitches, right? Do you think that's going to be harmful or helpful? Because let me tell you what, when I was in my marriage and I was in sort of a bad mental state about my marriage, I used to listen to Tom Leykis, right? And Tom Leykis, all he talks about is gold digging wives and how they're just using you for your money and all that kind of stuff. And I would actually get more resentful of my wife when I would listen to that, and I get home and I would treat her poorly. So I was just compounding the fucking problem. You understand? So if you're at that place, you need to find a different influence. And I try to be the beacon of light in the fucking red pill space, right? Because there's a lot of guys who will sit there and complain about how marriage sucks and how it's a bad deal for men and how men shouldn't get married. I agree. I agree. Getting the government involved in your relationship is a bad deal for men. It's just not a smart move. There's no reason you can't have a healthy long-term relationship without having, or there's no reason to have Uncle Sam in your bedroom, basically, right? You can have a good, healthy relationship without getting Uncle Sam involved. But what about the guys who are already married? There's no reason why they can't be happy too. They didn't get the memo. Okay. They didn't get the memo to not get married. Now they're married. What now? Let's help them. Okay. I try to be that beacon of light in the space. It doesn't have to be negative. Like we could turn these sort of negatives into positives. You understand? We can look at it from different perspectives. We can look at it from, a different point of view. It's okay. The praxeology is the same. It's just how you want to apply it. Right. Okay, so surround yourself with support, mentors, peers, communities that respect your growth, reinforce your frame. I highly recommend you guys get in my beer club. It's $10 a month, right? Best goddamn group on the internet. I've got the link here in the live chat on YouTube. If you guys are watching on Facebook, come on over to YouTube and check. Oh, that's my book. Here we go. There it is. Join the best men's group in the world, okay? That's an excellent place to level up with like-minded guys that are on a positive track. Okay. Occasionally we'll get a sort of negative Nancy in there, but they tend to, leave the group when they realize that no one is commiserating with them. Like everyone else is like, hey, stop that negative self-talk. Hey, watch that negative mindset. They're like, what? Fuck this place. Because they just want to be miserable. And then positive relationships foster accountability and inspire you to stay grounded, right? Oh, shit. CW is just trying to get me demonetized. Man, I was so close. Man, CW is a beer club brother. He says, I finally made it to another live. Here's to you and looking forward to the next beer club meetup, which is next week, by the way. And because he's a beer club brother, he automatically gets bumped up to the $10 super chat.
Thank you for the super chats. Movies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
Fuck you, man. remember, oh, not that one. Hold on. This one. God, your shiny dome just makes the beacon of hope that much brighter. You bastard. Everybody drink. That was a bald joke. Everybody drink. Oh, Miles says, I hope to write a book someday. What? Well, what do you want to write it about, man? and what's stopping you? It took me a long time to write my first book. In fact, my first book, I wrote the first couple of chapters and then deleted it all and rewrote it like 4 times. And then it took me a whole fucking year to actually get through it after that, after I got serious with what I wanted to tell people. Oh, hey, David's in the house. Just got here. Good. Yeah, we still got some time. We're probably going to go over today. The next concept here is surrounding yourself with, oh no, we did that one. Celebrating your small wins. So acknowledge progress to build confidence and reinforce the power of living with a strong frame. Recognize where you upheld your frame, especially in tough situations, and celebrating small victories helps maintain momentum towards larger goals. One of the things that I still haven't done yet, I need to fucking do this, but my coach, Nikki, wants me to have a brag book, right? Like a special journal where I just take the time to write out my wins. And the reason why that's helpful for your mindset is that it creates a positive feedback loop, right? It feels good to do good. And so then when you celebrate that, you do more good, right? Now, RP Thor disagrees with Wraith, but that's okay. That's one of the beauties of this Essential Skills series is that we don't have to fully agree with Thor, right? We're writing about the 7 P's of a dominant masculine presence, but from our own perspective. And that's okay. And that's actually what Thor wants. He wants different people in the space's perspective on the stuff. So Wraith says, celebrate your small wins. I agree with that. But Thor says, no, your small wins are just what you're supposed to be doing anyway. Right? So celebrate big wins. That's what he thinks. All right. Whatever serves you, whatever you think is going to serve you better. Be your own mental point of origin. The long-term benefits of a strong frame. So a strong frame provides clarity and confidence to relentlessly pursue your goals. It fosters deep connection and respect in relationships through authenticity, not just in your romantic relationships, but in your business relationships, right? That's why I say at the beginning, when you level up and get better with women, right? Like I help men level up and get better with women. And when you do that, it makes you better in all areas of your life. Because the funny thing is, all the things that women find attractive in men are typically qualities of men that succeed in life, right? That's why women like ambitious guys. They like guys that can potentially acquire resources. You don't even have to have the resources yet. They like potential. Women can smell potential in a man like shark smells blood, right? And they'll latch onto that because they see you as a guy who's going somewhere. Right. So as long as you are a guy that's going somewhere, you level up in this type of stuff, you are going to go somewhere. You are going to succeed at life. Right. And women fucking love the shit out of that. So strong frame will help do that. Right. It'll help you in all areas of your life, not just with women. Right. It fosters a deep connection, respect, relationships. And then over time, your frame contributes to a lasting legacy, shaping your reputation and influence. One of the reasons why it helps shape your legacy, is because you're going to show your kids what a dominant masculine presence looks like. You're going to show them what a good father looks like. You're going to show them what a good husband looks like. They're going to carry that into their lives. They're going to carry that into their future relationships. They're going to carry that into their future business relationships. And they're going to have more success. And they're going to teach that to their kids. It's one of the things that I truly think that those of us that are doing good in the red pill space, like those of us that are on the Rule Zero panel that are truly giving men actionable information to improve their situations, we are changing the fucking world a little at a time. Okay. One relationship at a time, one family at a time. We are spreading this in a positive direction. Right. But it really, the people that are taking this and using it to do good in their own lives, like for them, what's best for them. Right. And in doing so in a way that it also benefits the people around them, that's going to spread. It's just going to get better. Like we're truly helping people. Right. And that's one of the things I find really fulfilling about helping people in a bad marriage situation is like we're keeping families together. I think that's super important for society to have strong families that love each other. Strong, loving families make the world better. But we have a terrible problem right now where we have broken families, and it goes back generations. Like the root cause happened 60 years ago. So what do we do with it now, right? All we can do is work on ourselves and our immediate families and our immediate relationships, but that's going to spread. It's going to be exponential. So that's, let's see, legacy and leadership. So living with the frame inspires others to embrace integrity, purpose, and confidence. Your legacy reflects how you navigate life's challenges and empower others. And then a strong frame builds a foundation for meaningful impact in family, community, and career. Now, there is a concept when it comes to legacy in the red pill space that a lot of people look at their kids as their legacy. And it is true from a DNA perspective, right? From a biological perspective, and then how like your relationship, like what you're teaching and positive relationships will pass down. But are you going to be remembered? Like, will people remember your name? Most people are forgotten after 1 or 2 generations, right? So kids aren't necessarily a good, quote, legacy. But if you can take this information and build it into something that people do remember, like Thor's book. Thor wrote a very profound book, The Dominant Masculine Presence. It will live on well after he's gone. And, he's left a potential legacy with that, right? I've coming up on my 3rd book in January. That's a little bit of a legacy, especially if you guys go out and fucking buy it and leave 5-star reviews, right? Anyway. So then Raith ends this book with a quote. I also use this quote in my book too. It's from Viktor E. Frankl. If I remember right, Frankl, let's see here. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes. So Viktor Frankl was an interesting man. He was a Holocaust survivor, right? He was in the death camps during World War II. You can't say the N word on here. And I'm talking about the German N word. He was in the death camps. And I mean, that's probably one of the worst situations you could be in the world, right? You're seeing people that starving to death. You see people getting, you ever see Schindler's List where these people are getting, some officer just wakes up one morning and pulls out a rifle and just starts shooting random people in the camps. People are getting mass gassed and, buried in large, big, unmarked graves. Millions and millions of people are sick and dying and all this kind of stuff all around you. Like, it's probably the worst situation you could ever possibly go through. It's hard to even imagine. It's hard to even fathom. Well, this man survived that stuff because of his mindset. He realized that, yeah, they might have me trapped in here, but they can't trap my mind, right? And it was all about his mindset, and that mindset gave him hope, and he survived. So he has a quote. It says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom," right? If you have control of your mind, you are free, right? You are free. Most of us aren't in control of our minds, are we? Most people are NPCs, and they're just look at people on both sides of the political spectrum. They're completely led by their, whatever the media tells them in that moment, what's good, what's bad. It's kind of fascinating to watch when you disconnect from the media and you don't watch the news so much and you try to stay out of politics. You see it on both sides, and you're like, wow, a lot of people just can't think for themselves. It's interesting. And then it's also really interesting too to sort of think about, like, are we truly free in this society? Like, or do we have certain constraints that we can't really, like, are we being subtly controlled in certain ways? Like, what is freedom, right? What really is freedom? It's kind of interesting to think about. But if you have control of your mind, you have control over your reactions, your responses to things. You're free, right? So the power of choice lies in the space between stimulus and response. So basically just the quote. But the idea here is that how you respond to challenges defines your growth and reinforces your frame. And living with intention in this space leads to personal freedom and a more purposeful life. right? You get to, that's one of the things I love about the concepts of law of attraction, even though like people hate it because it's woo woo and shit cracky. It's really a framework for working on your frame, right? It's basically putting life in your control. It's your life stops happening to you when you realize you have full control of everything up here. And what's up here controls how you act in certain situations, and how you act in those situations determines your results. It's not magic, you know, it's not magic, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating to watch. And it's what's fascinating to me as a person who understands law of attraction, but also working with my coach. My coach, Mark, knows more about the law of attraction than like I've ever learned. Like in the last so many years studying it, he's been doing this for 40 years. Right. And he's able to identify your self-limiting beliefs just by hearing like, certain words coming out of your mouth. Even though I think I'm saying something in a positive way, he's like, the way you said that and what you just said, and he'll frame it in a certain way where I'm like, fucking hell. Right. For instance, one of the guys in my coaching program just signed 300 new clients in one sitting. 300 in one sitting. He's an accountant. And he went and did some kind of public speech at like, I don't know, some kind of group where it was a crowd of like 1,000 people. And out of that 1,000 people, he had 300 people sign up for his accountant offering. And I was like, 300 clients in one sitting is fucking nuts, right? Especially what we're doing. We're doing high ticket sales, right? High ticket offerings. And this guy sold 300, and I was like, I can't even fathom, what I said. What did I say? I said, I couldn't even handle 300 clients in a month. Like, I don't know how he does that. That's mind blowing to me. And then Coach Mark goes, Paul, shut the fuck up. He goes, shut the fuck up. You try to tell me if you had $10 million, you couldn't hire people to help you with 300 new clients. He's like, that is like one of the biggest self-limiting beliefs right there, thinking that you can't do something, right? You can't have 300. Don't tell me that you get 300 new clients that you won't now have the money to hire some help to help you work with those people. And I was like, fuck, I didn't even think about that. Like, it's right. It's like there's the possibilities are endless once you have your mind right and you can frame it in a certain way. It's not magic. It's not woo-woo, really. It's mindset, it's like, how can I do this as opposed to why I can't? And I preach it all the time, but but that's why I love having a coach, because they point it out, right? Having a coach will point out certain things that you're not sort of aware of. And all the stuff comes down to awareness. All right, guys, that's all I've got. That has been Raith's book. We've been going over this for the last 10 weeks or so. Definitely get it if you haven't gotten already. And then go on Amazon and search for The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence and get all the books. Collect them like Pokemon. They're all going to be very helpful. Tune into Rule Zero tomorrow. I am hosting Rule Zero. We are going to be talking about that OnlyFans chick who just took 100 dicks in a day and cried about it in some kind of documentary, and everyone's talking about it this week. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, it's always fun to talk about these 304s. And then we're going to talk about, body count with that. And then we're also going to talk about how she's already marketing, taking 1,000 dicks. Like she's already upped her goal to 1,000 dicks in one standing. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. That should be fun. We're going to, let's see, on Dragon Ship right after, we're going to be talking about goal setting in 2025. So if you are the type of person that likes to do New Year's resolutions and actually stick with them, you'll definitely want to tune into Dragon Ship after that. Other than that, tune into the podcast Monday. We are going to be talking about why you need to bang your girl in your truck every now and then. You got to pull off on some back road, some backcountry road, and just bang the shit out of her in the back of the truck every now and then, right? Keeps things interesting. That's a big problem with people's dead bedroom situation, is they've allowed things to turn into routine. Routine turns into boring, and you can be anything to a woman, but you can't be boring. But if you every once in a while keep her guessing by pulling off by a small airport in the middle of Delta, Colorado, in the middle of the night, and say, get in the back, we're doing this. Well, that adds a little bit of a spicy excitement in everybody's life, and everyone loves a good car sex, except for some bitch on TikTok. This morning, some bitch on TikTok left a comment going, "Oh, of course you would advocate for this. This is such selfish man behavior, especially when statistically women are so unsatisfied and all this stuff." And I was like, "Well, not the way I do it." Oh man, don't you know I'm friends with Eric Everhard? Fuck off. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And thank you for everybody that sounded off in the comment section. I appreciate you. There should be like 40 likes on this video right now. Thank you for the super chat. I think I only got the one. Yeah, CW is the only one that sends super chat. You cheap bastards, but that's okay. I appreciate that. And then, guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get on the email list. Get some free stickers. If you don't want free stickers, just don't want stickers in the address field. But at least get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. That'll help you with the betatization process. Get my books, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18, and The Essential Skills of a Masculine Present Psychology Paradigm. They're available on Audible and Amazon. If you go to books.comeonmanpod.com, you'll find my authors page, and you can find those books there. My new book, Get Her to Fuck You Again, A Red Pill Guide to Fix a Dead Bedroom, drops in January. So be on the lookout for that. Get in Beer Club. Our next hangout is next week on Thursday. And then, guys, if you are in a dying marriage situation, you want to avoid divorce, come talk to me, okay? Let's turn that shit around. If you rated your relationship on a scale of 1 to 5, right? If you're like in the 3, right, where it's sort of like you're arguing all the time, you still have sex occasionally, but it's not what it used to be, right? Your wife's starting to act a little more bitchy than she used to. You're starting to get annoyed by it. That's the perfect time to start working with me, okay? That is like, you're going to turn that shit around right away, okay? If you get to the 5 where, she might be cheating on you already, she's thinking about filing for divorce, shit's going to be fucking hard to turn around, but it's not impossible, all right? It's not impossible. I had a guy, he's been working on this dread shit for like the last 2 years, and but just from chatting with him, it sounds like he just can't fix his fucking mindset about it. He can't get past the resentment shit, right? And so his wife just looks at him like he's a negative guy. Well, women don't want to be with a negative guy. And so now he's gotten to a point where she's already talking, like she's gotten appointments set up with lawyers and stuff like that. And now he's reaching out to me. And I was like, bro, why'd you wait so fucking long? Okay. Don't wait that long. All right. Like, we're going to chat today. We're going to come up with a game plan, because when your wife files for divorce, you typically still have like a year before they actually finalize it. Like, there's still some time to turn this shit around. Okay. But don't fucking wait till she files for divorce. Okay. Cause it's going to be infinitely fucking harder. All right. Infinitely fucking harder. All right. That's all I got, guys. We will see you tomorrow on Rule Zero. Remember, smash that like button.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.